The driveway smelled of wet leaves and burnt pine, the kind of smell that usually marked the start of a holiday. But today it felt sharp, invasive. I parked at the edge of the curb, half expecting my uncle to appear as soon as I opened the car door. He didn't smile, he didn't even step aside. He just planted himself in front of the doorway like a sentry and said, flatly, "You're not family anymore." Leave. I stopped mid-step. My hands hung loose at my sides. I wasn't sure what to say, or rather, I knew that saying anything would play into exactly the drama he wanted. Behind him, I saw my mother. Her hand rested on the back of a chair. She was laughing softly, handing my seat over to my sister's boyfriend with a kind of performative cheer. That little gesture, so casual, so deliberate, settled into me with the weight of a brick. I nodded once. No words, no argument, just a nod, slow and careful. I turned, walked back to my car, and closed the door behind me. Inside the car, let myself breathe fully for the first time in months. My phone was on the passenger seat. I had drafted a message weeks ago. Carefully, deliberately, I sent it. Nothing explosive, no threats, no long diatribes, just the truth, unclothed, pointed, and intentional. 5 minutes passed. I watched the driveway empty, leaves swirling around my tires. Then my phone vibrated. Done message, then another, a friend on the inside, not my mother, not my uncle, but someone who had always noticed. The small Aragura-san dismissals responded with a single line, "We're done with this." Then, in rapid succession, footsteps, chair scraping against the floor, and the quiet shuffle of coats. Half the table rose, not in anger, but in silent acknowledgement. They walked out. Some glanced at my uncle, whose face had tightened as if realizing too late that his authority wasn't absolute. Some glanced at me, or maybe through me recognizing a boundary they hadn't named. Until now, inside the car, I stayed putai. Didn't cheer, I didn't text, I just let the silence stretch between the house and the street, letting it fill with the weight of consequence. It was calm, controlled. My agency was mine again, quietly reclaimed. I thought about my mother. I thought about the small, sharp betrayals that had built up over the years. Her laughter was not just complicity. It was performance, as signal to the rest of the room about where the power lay, and yet in that moment her power was a shadow against the tangible reality of choice. Others, leaving the leaves, continued to swirl around the driveway. The smell of smoke from the fireplace drifted out the open windows. Somewhere inside, the conversation about turkey and pie continued, but its rhythm was broken, fractured. I didn't need to watch them leave. The message, the timing, their restraint, that had shifted the balance. There was no celebration, no triumphant return, no loud vindication. There was only a quiet restoration of self, of presence, of dignity. It was not revenge, it was recognition. The people who mattered, at least those who had eyes to see it, were aligned, silently, acknowledging that the rules of the table had changed. I started the car. The engine's hum felt like an anchor in my chest. I didn't drive anywhere in particular. The street was empty, lined with the deep shadows of early evening. I thought about the hollowness of families. Sometimes the way belonging can be conditional, performative, fragile. But I also thought about what it meant to hold your boundaries, to make a move without spectacle, to let consequence doth work quietly. And somewhere in that calm, reflective space, I realized that Thanksgiving, for the first time in years, belonged to me, not because of triumph, but because of restraint, clarity, and an undeniable reclaiming of self. The house remained behind me, its lights glowing faintly in the dark. The driveway was littered with leaves. Half the table had walked out. My uncle had been undermined without a word from me, beyond a single message. My mother's laughter, which had once stung, now felt like background noise, a reminder of the quiet strength that comes from choosing your timing, your medium, and your audience. I exhaled, letting the tension bleed out of my shoulders. The car moved forward slowly, deliberately, and for the first time in a long while, it felt the kind of calm that isn't loud, isn't visible, isn't performative. It just is, and that was enough.